If I could have everyone's attention, please. Thank you. Ambassador Barak, Kavod HaRabbanim, and fellow supporters of Israel, good evening. My name is Stephen Kimmel, and as the chair of the Jewish Federation of Ottawa, I will serve as your MC tonight. We would all have preferred that an evening of solidarity was not needed at this juncture. We would prefer to be elsewhere tonight, but the tragic losses in Israel and the ongoing violence necessitates our coming together as a community once again. We will begin with the singing of O Canada, led by Cantor Jeremy Burko, and I would ask everyone to please rise.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all our sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Et ta valeur de foi trompée protégera nos foyers et nos droits, protégera nos foyers et nos droits.
Thank you, Cantor Burko. In 2012, I personally experienced a night of sirens and bomb shelters while I was in Beersheba. This life-changing experience showed me the resilience of the citizens of Israel. Try to imagine how you would cope with the constant sirens and bomb shelters with your family. I am sure almost everyone in the room tonight have family or know someone with family in Israel who have been tormented by the terror of Hamas. Day after day, I receive emails from friends and family outlining the challenges of the day. Children, parents, grandparents, and grandchildren all have their lives turned upside down weekly, daily, and most recently, hourly. Imagine sending your child off to the IDF and praying for their safe return. Too many Israelis and Palestinians have lost their lives. Tonight, we gather here in Ottawa to mourn the losses and to demonstrate our support. Am Yisrael Chai B'Shalom. We are very fortunate in Ottawa and Canada that during these difficult times, Israel's ambassador to Canada is Raphael Barak, such an experienced diplomat and a tremendous supporter of Jewish peoplehood. Please join me in welcoming His Excellency, Israel's ambassador to Canada, Raphael Barak.
Good evening, dear friends, rabbis, presidents of organizations, president of the Federation. The past few weeks have been difficult for all of us. The image on television, the horrifying news, stories, the unverified reports, and the troubling accounts of our families and friends. We have been left in grief, appalled and devastated by the innocent loss of lives on both sides. Now, as the attention shifts to the ceasefire discussions going on in Cairo, it is important that we take stock of what we learned over the last 30 days. We learned that we are a strong democracy fighting a brutal terrorist organization. We learned that these terrorists will do anything in their power to claim innocent Israeli lives, and that Hamas has no value for his own civilian population. We learn how it used his own civilians as shelter to fire and terrorize ours. Our reverence for life is stronger than their culture of death. We know the price of war. We will continue to pay this heavy price to live in our homeland. We don't have any other place. The grave of our lost soldiers lie in our country's cemeteries, soldiers who died in our borders, fighting to protect the homes of their loved ones. And now we have 67 more graves that have been laid. Every death leaves a deep wound in our national soul. But what gives us strength is this knowledge that these young men died so that their friends and families could live in safety. Over the course of this operation, we dismantled the terrorist infrastructure built with one purpose: to terrorize and kill our civilians. We destroyed 32 tunnels designed to enable death squads to attack our communities. We eliminated more than 1,600 rocket launching facilities, 191 weapon caches, and 77 terrorist command centers. We struck 4,700 terror targets and killed over 750 terrorists. The figures that the other side is publishing are Hamas figures, and I think that the real picture will come up in the next few days. We offer our civilians shelter from the 3,360 rockets that rain over our cities and towns, while we use our Iron Dome to shield our population. Hamas used the population to shield the weapons. They transformed their mosques, schools and hospitals and even UN shelters in combat zones. Some of the rockets they fired fell back into Gaza, falling in the schools and hospitals and killing also their own civilians. They turned down their electricity. And now that the fog of war has cleared, the people of Gaza have only Hamas to blame. Hamas has been heavily beaten, and they must now explain to the population why so many died in vain. 7 times we offered a ceasefire. 3 weeks ago, Israel accepted already the ceasefire. We can save a lot of lives, innocent lives, if this terrorist organization will accept at that time the ceasefire. So tonight, as the ceasefire continues to hold, we remain in high alert. We don't know what tomorrow will bring, but we do know that we will continue to seek long-term peace and security for our civilians. The goal will be reached only by disarming Hamas. The international community must work hard in order to dismantle the capabilities of this terrorist organization. We have a model. We discussed this many times I was member also of the delegation and conduct part of these negotiations in order to have the demilitarization of Gaza. Was part of the agreements we signed in 1995 with the Palestinians. We recognize also that Gaza needs to be rebuilt. Will they use the billions of dollars of aid for good or for evil? This is the question we have to ask us. Will they rebuild their hospitals and schools, or will they dig tunnels and manufacture rockets? We don't know what path our Palestinian neighbors will take. We will have to be very careful. There should be inspections, and dual-use products will be part of this reconstruction, and we have to be very vigilant. What we do know is that Israel fulfilled his key objectives. We started this operation trying to bring quiet to our citizens, not only those who live in the border, but also now in Tel Aviv and Ra'anana and Kfar Saba. We also know that we could not have done this without the support of both the Jewish people and international community. Over the past month, you stood by us. You, the Jewish community here in Ottawa, offer us your thoughts, your support, your prayers. You help to rally your political leaderships, friends of Israel, like the Prime Minister Harper, who once again stood up for what is right. Friends from all parties who demonstrate also their sympathy. Friends like John Burt, who was in this podium a few weeks ago, like Justin Trudeau and Marc Garneau, who defended the Israel right to defend himself. And not all of you in this room, and all of you in this room, I want to thank you as an ambassador of the State of Israel for all your support and for all your hard work. I know that each and every one of you has been an ambassador of my country. Your letters, your phone calls help to rally the political leadership. Your conversations and stories help to personalize Israel to your friends. Your voices were very strong in a time when we need the most. And your voices will continue to be needed today and tomorrow. I know that you will continue to speak loudly and for a place that you hold close to your hearts. And for this, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. Toda rabah.
Thank you, Ambassador Barak. Ottawa's Jewish community is proud to stand together in solidarity with the people and the State of Israel. Like all of you, I spend many hours reading and watching the news and searching the web. I want to share a moving montage of photos set to the classic Israeli song, Ein li eretz acheret, that captures the mood of Israel's soldiers and the terrible toll that their service has taken.
Elor Kael
I would like now to ask Cantor Burko to come up and lead us in memorial prayers for Israel's fallen soldiers.
רחמים שוכן במרומים המצא מנוחה נכונה על כנפי השכינה במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים לנשמות הקדושים שנלחמו במערכות ישראל במחתרת בשירותי הביטחון ובצבא הגנה לישראל אשר נפלו בשעת מילוי תפקידם בגינם על חיי עם ישראל בארצו מחוצה לה ולנשמות הקדושים שנפלו קורבן בפעולות טרור בעבור שאנו מתפללים לעילוי נשמותיהם לכן הבעל הרחמים יסתירם בסכנפיו לעולמים ויצרור בתרחיים את נשמותיהם אדוני הוא נחלתם בגני עדן תהא מנוחתם וינוחו בשלום על משכבם ונאמר אמן.
Thank you, Cantor Burko. The Jewish Federation of Ottawa is pleased to work with the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs, or CIJA, our national advocacy partner. We are proud that CIJA is so ably led by CEO Shimon Fogel, an Ottawa resident. CIJA is our partner in organizing tonight's program, and Shimon has agreed to say a few words updating the community on advocacy efforts. Shimon.
Friends, the Jewish state and the Jewish people have endured a tough, brutal couple of months. But the immediate crisis precipitated by the abduction of 3 young boys, 3 true martyrs in every sense of the word, did not constitute the beginning of this conflict, only its latest chapter. And that's something we have to bear in mind. Because just as Prime Minister Netanyahu noted earlier today, namely that Hamas could have prevented almost 2,000 casualties had it accepted the original ceasefire proposed by Egypt, the exact same ceasefire it accepted 48 hours ago. So too, the broader Arab-Israeli conflict could have been resolved any time over the last 6 decades, if only they had accepted the legitimacy of a Jewish state in the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people. So as we pray the ceasefire will hold, and no more lives, be them the courageous souls defending the land and people of Israel, or as Elie Wiesel noted, the child sacrifices of Hamas, we must understand that the war against the Jewish state is not yet over. International attention will turn, indeed it's already turned, to the accounting which will present itself as the latest form of the infamous blood libel. Here in Canada, we as a community can take a great measure of pride in how we managed over the last 8 weeks. The government's record, its statements during this period, have provided a quality of moral clarity that is unique amongst the nations of the world. Those views have been echoed by the opposition parties to the extent that numerous pundits and journalists have underscored that on the core substantive issues, there is little to distinguish the government from the Liberals or the New Democrats. Media treatment, although at times it does not appear so, has been overwhelmingly positive. Even in Quebec, where an op-ed crafted by CIJA mission alumni from Quebec's intellectual elites and signed by over 100 of their peers that appeared in Le Devoir yesterday, ranked as the single most read and liked article since this conflict began. On the community engagement front, the 4 questions developed by CIJA and circulated through the Jewish Federation of Ottawa, along with its partner federations across the country, has reached over 100,000 individuals. The action alerts, the infographics, the social media tools have all helped carry the message. It's helped Canadians connect the dots. And then there were the rallies, dozens of them across the country, heartfelt, passionate expressions of support for and solidarity with Israel. More than anything else, these rallies seeded and fostered a sense of unity that has not been experienced since the Six-Day War almost 50 years ago. Friends, we're going to need that sense of unity because going forward we face many difficult battles. On campus,